Welcome back to this week's very special episode of the WRPF podcast, episode 11. I'm your host, Alex Uslar. I am also the creator and main meet director of the Ghost Clash. You guys may know that meet, and you may know that this episode is going to be centered around the Ghost Clash. I'm joined by my friend Garrett. Garrett has been involved with the Ghost Clash the last 2 years, and previously before the Ghost Clash, he's been involved as well. So Garrett is coming on an assistant meet director to help me with this event. So we're just going to fill you guys in. I know you guys are wanting to get down to business and hear what the deal is for the Ghost Clash. I told you guys on this episode today, Wednesday the 5th, is when we're releasing all these details as far as how you can compete on the pro day, how you can compete on the amateur day, and we're going to direct all of those questions. All right. So the first thing we're going to jump into is, what is the Ghost Clash? All right. The Ghost Clash is the third year it's ran, but previously before that, I ran another meet called the Hybrid Showdown for 3 years, which followed a very similar format. That format is clashing amateurs and all-time world record holders. It's one of the only meets out there where you can compete on one day, and it could be your first meet ever. There's no qualification necessary. You don't have to have ever even done a meet. You just have to register in time, and on the next day, you can watch some of the best lifters in the world compete. Most of the other pro-level meets and all the different federations, they're strictly pro. So that's what the Ghost Clash is, and that's kind of what a differentiating factor is. We're clashing those amateurs with those all-time world record holders and giving you guys an opportunity to compete alongside your idols. So bringing Garrett on board, like I said, dating back from the Hybrid Showdown, Garrett would just kind of come out, help out on his own accord. As this meet has grown more and more and more, we're bringing him on in an administrative capacity to help with all the organization, help with the communication with you athletes, help with our sponsors, getting our sponsors on board to help raise the biggest prize fund possible. And yeah, welcome, Garrett.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. You know, one thing about the Ghost Clash that I really love, and your events as a whole, is there is a definitive proof that on a yearly basis you have improved. You know, they've always been great, but on a year by year basis, you're doing more, you're giving more, you're getting a better venue, you're getting more money. It doesn't matter what it is. You're improving all the time. And I'm happy to have played my part in that in the past. But now coming on in a more official role, I know that you and I working together as a team, we have the capabilities to make this even better, to make it a better experience for the lifters, the spectators, and all the coaches and everybody involved in the event. And I'm just really, really happy to be here. With that, I know that you had typically ran this event in February before, and this year you're doing it in April.
Yeah, so the reason why we moved it, that's one of the number one questions that you guys asked on Instagram. If you look back on actually one of the first posts that I made after the last Ghost Clash in February, I asked all the lifters, when do you guys want it in the year? Back in February, the American Pro had already been announced. The American Pro had been pushed back from August to November, or last week of October, technically almost November, October 27th, 28th, 29th. And so knowing that schedule, I felt it would be best to push back to April. And most of you lifters voted that as well. It'd be a really quick turnaround time to do the American Pro the last week of October and then compete the first week of November. And our goal is to have three big pro meets, all right? Two of them that you already know of, one that you may be familiar with in the past, that kind of can be spaced out so the pro level lifters can kind of choose all three.
From an objective standpoint, the idea is to have basically 3 pro level events, all that kind of have their own different appeal. They kind of offer a slightly different product with the same level of production and the same fuel for the athlete. And so we will be bringing back the past showdown event that was done from the WRPF. That will be happening, and those events will all be spaced out roughly 15 to 16 weeks apart between the Ghost Clash, the Showdown, and the American Pro. We'll have more details on that soon, but that's not what today is about. That's not what this talk is about. This talk is about the Ghost Clash. And the Ghost Clash last year, I think, had its best year of improvement yet. And the biggest one of those improvements, in my opinion, came from the change in venue.
100%. And it's funny because that venue I was trying to get in contact with for year one. And we don't even need to go in the disaster story of year one with a venue. But that venue, the current manager there was all over the place. I couldn't book it. And I was so excited to get it booked for that second year. I knew it was going to be perfect from the moment that I walked into it. So I'm very excited to let you guys know that we are returning to the Tank Brewing. Dates have already been booked, deposits already been settled, so it's 1,000% going to be at the Tank Brewing Co. Garrett and I are working together to try to even further improve the floor plan as it already was, but you can already expect that nice, big, spacious back warm-up room. You can already expect that only coaches will be allowed back there in the warm-up room. Last year, we sold coaching passes, but this year it'll be even stricter on how coach can get a coaching pass. Again, we want to make it the best experience for those lifters. We don't need all those people in the back room, and I think a perfect size back room. We'll still have VIP tables. There'll be full service food. And so that is your guys' venue. We're very excited to be returning there.
Yeah, and with the venue and the warm-up room too, one of the bigger issues that you have in warm-up rooms as a whole is that tends to be a space where athletes tend to commune when they're not warming up. So we're going to be working out ways for athletes to have their own space outside of the warm-up room as well, where they can have their stuff and the warm-up room doesn't stay as crowded. With the Ghost appeal, there is a lot of, or with the Ghost Clash, there's a lot of appeal as far as payouts. And as far as payouts go, we have some exciting news in that we are going to bring a way for anybody to be a part of this prize pool. And we will talk about that more in some coming episodes. For now, I think Alex is getting ready to talk about how we're going to structure the invites for this event this year.
Exactly. So this is the bread and butter. This is what you guys want to know. This is what you're here for. What is the release schedule? We announced the dates of this meet on July 1st. You guys will be listening to this episode on July 5th. July 8th is going to be our first round of invites. Saturday, July 8th will be the first round, and all pro day lifters from the last 2 years that meet our requirements will be invited. Second round of invites will be July 15th. We're going to be, and Garrett will get into more details of the breakdown on that in a second. Third round of invites are going to be July 22nd. So all of these are Saturdays. These are all your next Saturdays throughout this month. Mark those calendars. July 22nd will be the third and final round of invites before July 29th, when things that are left are going to open up. So from there, Garrett's going to go in depth on each round.
So in the first round of invites, obviously, we're gonna give the people who have done this event every year and have retained competitorship in this event their opportunity first to sign up for this event. We want to honor your loyalty to this event, and so anybody who meets the requirements, if you've competed in the event, you'll get the first invites and the first opportunity to sign up. And again, that'll be on July 8th.
And what are those requirements, Garrett?
Yep. Keep in mind that this year the DOTS requirements are going to be a 500 DOTS score for the sleeved competitors and a 525 DOTS score for the wrapped competitors. With that, if you have hit one of those DOTS requirements in said equipment category, you can switch to the other one. So say you have a 525 DOTS, but you've never in wraps, but you've never achieved a 500 DOTS raw, but you want to do this event raw, you're more than welcome to. And the same applies for the vice versa. Moving into the second round of invites, that'll be July 15th. For this round, we're going to go through the top 5 competitors and every weight class across the country and the world for 2022 and 2023, and they will receive their next round of invites. And then anybody who qualifies will get their invite in this round. So that's where we will still give that loyalty invite to the people who did the amateur day and now qualify for the pro day, as well as the weight classes. On July 22nd, our third round of invites, and probably to me, one of the most exciting round of invites. First and foremost, we'll be expanding on the top 5 list and going into the top 10 for 2022 and 23. We will give all of our amateurs their invites who competed last year first, before we open up registration entirely. And my favorite part of this round of invites is we're going to be going a little bit outside of the box and kind of do what we're going to call our wild card invites, or more specifically, our fans wild card invites. We're going to put some prompts out there for you guys, some surveys. And if there are some people who are able to qualify for the event 500, 525 dots requirement based on equipment category, but they haven't competed in a couple of years, or they haven't come to the States, or maybe they had a bad meet and they didn't make that top 5, top 10 list, but they have that dots requirement. We're going to leave it to you guys, and you are going to send in your submissions for who you think we should give the invites to. We will then scour that list. We'll go through it, and we will invite people accordingly and how we think lifters would benefit, spectators would benefit, and what lifters, frankly, we want to see hit this event. And then from there, we roll into July 29th. That'll be the final weekend in July. And this is where we will open the registration to anybody. So for the amateurs, no qualifying total, no qualifying dots. Doesn't matter what equipment category you've done or if you've done a meet at all. If there are still spots available, you will be able to enter first. And then for the pros, it'll be an open invite for them as well, just permitting that there are spots open and that they hit the 500 and 525 dot score requirement, respectively, in their equipment categories. There may not be pro spots left open at this point. You get first access to compete on Amateur Day. If you qualified, for Pro Day, if you qualified last year, and that'll be in the third round of invites. But remember, as those invites get taken up and those spots get filled, we have to just work with what's open to everyone, what's left on our registration on July 29th. So that's when it will open up to everybody. So that's our event schedule. That's our invite schedule. Don't forget, July 8th, that'll be the Pro Day lifters from the last 2 years who meet the dots requirement. On July 15th, it'll be our top 5 via weight class 2022-23 and any amateur qualifiers for the Pro Day this year. And in the third round, July 22nd, that'll be your fans wild card, the top 10 by weight class, and then your amateurs will get invited for the Amateur Day from last year's event. And July 29th, we'll open it up to anybody who qualifies or if there's spots entry for the Amateur Day.
Boom. And just to give you guys a little bit of the history from the previous years, first year, Pro Day and Amateur Day both sold out in under 10 minutes. Even after Pro Day invites, we did have Pro Day spots available when registration opened, and then it sold out in 10 minutes. Last year, we sent out less rounds of invites. I believe it was only 1 to 2. But when it reached opening to everyone, we still had Pro Day spots available for about 24 hours because they needed to hit that same 500, 525 requirement before it sold out. The Amateur Day, however, sold out in about 5 minutes or less. We will keep you guys posted before July 29th on how many spots we anticipate being open. We encourage people, let's say we get to July 29th, and unfortunately, all of the Pro Day spots are already filled and there's no Pro Day spots remaining. We encourage you, even if you hit that qualifying dots requirement, to still compete on the Amateur Day, because there will surely be Amateur Day spots still open on July 29th because they won't be all filled from last year's amateurs because there was less than our capacity. So there will definitely be Amateur Day spots remaining. So we encourage you to sign up for Amateur Day because then next year we're going to continue the same structure that you will get a guaranteed early invite that you can early access the Pro Day. All right. Don't think just because you can't be on the Pro Day, you shouldn't still come and be a part of this event.
And it's not just being a part of the event. Don't forget, all of our payouts are structured to pay anybody who hits those top scores that we're looking for on either the amateur or pro day. So you will be scored equivalently across the entire board of competitorship. So it's not like you are no longer eligible for prize money. You will still be eligible for prize money on the amateur day. You don't have to just be on the pro day. With that, we do also encourage, if the meet fills up, that you guys go ahead and sign up for our wait list. We will have a wait list open and available. It will be a paid wait list. That way we can guarantee competitorship. And when that comes out after July 29th, we'll probably do that on August 7th, and we'll open up our wait list then. Alex, I believe there were some questions that you had gotten online that you wanted to discuss as well.
Yep. The last thing to kind of talk about that is a little bit different from last year. Amateur Day is going to be run as a 2-session format this year. Okay. So what does that mean? It's going to be essentially 2 separate meets, some weight classes in the first, some weight classes in the second. All right. But you'll still be lumped with your weight class. The first session is going to have an 8 a.m. start time on Saturday, meaning you'll have an 8 a.m. weigh-in time on Friday, 24 hours before, a little bit earlier than usual. The second session will have a tentative 3 p.m. start time with a 3 p.m. weigh-in time on that Friday. Okay. This is going to be able to allow us to have more lifters compete than last year on the amateur day and more spots be readily available. Like I mentioned, last year's amateur days sold out in under 4 minutes. So we want to have more spots readily available. We know it's still going to sell out really quick, but us splitting this into a sessioned meet and allowing 45 lifters to be in the morning, 45 lifters to be in the afternoon, and now we have 90 spots that are going to be available as opposed to last year only 60 spots available. This is, quite a few more of you guys that are going to be able to get in. So keep that in mind for amateur day. Where you're going to be lifting is to be determined. But if you are a male in a heavier weight class, you'll likely be in the afternoon. If you're a lighter weight class or a female, you'll likely be in the morning. You can keep that in mind. Your session is to be determined, and this will be explained again on your registration form. Pro Day is still going to be a single session meet, 9 a.m. start time, 4 flights, 60 lifters. Nothing changes there. But keep that in mind for the amateur day. Couple Q&As. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to make this quick. A lot of the questions that you guys asked on the Instagram, we've already covered. We've already told you. The number one thing that a lot of you guys asked, that in case it wasn't clear enough in what we just said, is that amateur day, anyone can do. There is 0 qualifying necessary. A lot of you guys asked that. No qualifying necessary. Pro day, if you hit 500 in sleeves, if you hit 525 in wraps, if there's spots available, you get it. We gave you guys the criteria on how to get an actual personalized invite. That's the only way to get an invite, but that doesn't mean if you don't get an invite, you can't get in if spots are remaining. Okay. Someone asked, can you qualify any other way other than hitting the required dots, such as an all-time world record? No. The strict standard is going to be the dots requirement. We aren't doing any other exceptions. You will not see anyone on the roster that has hit below a 500 or 525 dots. I don't care if they have 3 million followers on Instagram. The requirements, and that is it. All right. Drug testing. Garrett, you want to get into that?
Yeah, so that's a pretty common question on if we are going to be offering drug tested for the Ghost Clash. And we decided that it would be in our best interests and the lifters' best interests to not offer drug testing for this event. If we were to offer drug testing for the event, that would require quite a bit more logistical work and scheduling on your guys' side, as well as our own. And we think ultimately maintaining the format with not having it be a drug tested event is what's going to work the best for everybody. Also, it'll keep your entry fee slightly lower. So there are benefits to that. Although we know that people want the drug testing, that is an option we're going to explore in the future. And then from there, again, I covered this earlier. But if you do qualify in sleeves and want to do wraps, you are able to do that, and the same goes vice versa. Now, the reason the dot score is so important is because the dot score encompasses all the main factors that are looked for in establishing a coefficient to gauge athletes and compare athletes across weight classes. The dot score does not utilize age as a criteria. So you don't have a higher or lower dot score based on your age, whether you are a junior lifter or a master lifter. There is a different formula used for judging masters, but that doesn't change our dot score requirement at all.
Yep. And then one of the last questions that I thought was very important to talk about and touch about, an athlete from the first year who I recognize asked if we're going to be giving any links or suggestions on IV lounges in the surrounding area. We did that on the first year. Great news. If you were here on the second year, you saw one of our silver sponsors who contributed the prize money, Infinite Body Wellness, who was set up in the venue, ready to give IV therapy with tons of different stations. They are verbally confirmed to be coming back this year. So there will be IV bags available for booking directly from them. As soon as you step off the scale, you'll be able to step into their booth area and get your IVs. And we're only going to keep trying to add more valuable sponsors that not only help grow this prize money and make it one of the largest payouts of 2024, but also add value to the experience all around of the event. So besides that, I think that covers pretty much all the questions. We covered everything we wanted to talk about. You guys got the rundown. You guys got the gist. You're listening to this 48 hours from now. Those first rounds of invites are going out. And very important, I just want to note, don't sleep. When you get that invite, you have a good amount of time. You have a week before the next round goes out. But ultimately, if you're an invited athlete, just know that July 29th, for the most part, is going to be your deadline to guarantee a spot. Once it opens up on July 29th, things are going to be sold out. We will have waitlist and we'll have the parameters around that to be determined. Okay. We'll talk about how that's going to be at a later time. We'll post that on Instagram and let you guys know how that will work. Historically, we haven't had waitlists. So we are going to be adding that. There will be a percentage penalty fee to get refunded and then funnel in the new person. All that you guys will hear about soon, but that wait list can be long, and it's not guaranteed your spot getting there. There's no favorites, okay? We're not moving someone up to the top of the wait list over another. So guarantee your spot. I don't care if you're best in the world. I don't care who you are. Sign up if you want to sign up. No favors, nothing like that. That's a wrap.
Yep. And that being said, one more thing for everybody, guys. If you're a sponsor or an organization or even a person who wants to get on this event, we will be releasing some sponsor info, but feel free to inquire anytime you would like with Alex, and we can get some information ready for you. We know a lot of people want to be a part of these events, these pro events, and specifically the Ghost Clash. And if you want to do that, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yep. By the time you guys hear this, we will likely already have all of our sponsor decks available. We'll be posting some information online, but you can email us at theghostclash@gmail.com, and we'll be able to send you all the different sponsor decks. And like Garrett started this episode with, something very cool that we're doing is we're going to make a tier available that anyone, even you as a lifter, if you're not going to be in attendance to that meet, but you want to be a part of it and contribute to all these lifters and giving back, we're going to have something for all you guys. So stay on the lookout for that. Stay on the lookout for Saturday. First round of invites go out. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode, and see you guys in April.
Peace be with you.